Hello everyone, you're welcome to today's episode of Finding Love. I am Grace Renner. Finding Love is a relationship and marriage show that instills the right foundation for marriage with the understanding that marriage is God's idea. It is a useful insight for anyone who is ready for the journey of marriage or who is married and desires to do marriage the way God designed it, because marriage is God's idea. I'm so happy to have you here. Now, in the previous episodes, we've been talking about commitment in marriage, extensively. And I always say this, commitment in marriage is one subject I'm really passionate about, because according to researchers, 75% of divorces are caused by lack of commitment in marriage. Okay, so we've been touching on the subject of marrying right, and we started from the first step, which I said was develop a solid relationship with God. The second step, find you before you find the one. And the third step, which we'll be taking today, is become who you want to attract or who you want to marry. That's going to be interesting, guys. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Please do not forget to share this video so that more people can see it. Like it also so that more people can see it. And leave me a comment, something nice, or a feedback or anything like that. And I'll definitely be in my comment section. Thank you so much, and I'll be right back. You're welcome back. So I said today's topic is consciously become who you want to marry or attract. Now, in this segment of Marrying Right, we'll be touching on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual preparation for marriage. Now, so for today's subtitle is physical preparation. And let me start by saying this: marriage is for two adults, not for children, but for adults. Now, let me share this story with you. I was about 15 years old when my first tutor came. I remember I was writing my GCE in the school, and the mother of the guy came to me and said, please, can I have your number? We got talking, she visited, I visited, and then she finally spilled the beans that, she wanted me to marry her son. Now, I was still very young. I was probably in maybe SS2, because I did my GCE at SS2. I was still in SS2. My breasts weren't even fully formed yet. I was still very young. So I was wondering in my head, why would this woman think I was ripe enough for her son? I understand that it was a norm in the olden days for two children to be betrothed in marriage, or for a younger girl to be given to an older man, or let me say, for a little girl to be given to an older man. Things have changed now, we know better now. Studies have shown that those kinds of marriages had serious disadvantages. Child marriage violates the rights of the children, for the little girls, apart from, the lack of access to education or access to career opportunities and mental health issues, there's also issue of early pregnancy and childbirth issues that are very, very harmful, to the little girl, and then for the groom, in addition to lack of access to education or lack of access to pursue opportunities, there's also that ill preparedness for marriage, for fatherhood, for the big responsibility of managing and owning a family, so it's important that one highly considers the physical development of any person before giving them out or giving the hand out in marriage. Now, part of the researches I did also says that there was 4 times increase in divorce rates for people who married at the age of 20 compared to those who married at the age of 25. And they said things like the increase in divorce rates and separation is highly associated with early marriages. So if we're talking about reducing divorce rates, these are things that we should really, really pay attention to. That said, it is very, very important that you're physically developed before you venture into the journey of marriage. Now, how do you physically prepare for marriage? Number 1, start paying attention to your personal hygiene. Now, I'm going to be very real with us, okay? It's important that we understand that sex or sexual intimacy is one of the major ingredients in marriage. Now, and it involves physical contact. Now, if we do not take good care of our bodies, what will happen is our spouses will perceive those offensive odors. And I say this thing to people that bad odor, whether body odor or mouth odor, actually spoils romance. You do not want body odor to get in the way of your romance. So you want to make sure that you start to practice good personal hygiene, invest in the right deodorant, invest in the right toothpaste, have a good night routine, apart from the morning routine, have a night routine, because you're going to be sleeping next to your spouse and they can decide to make love to you anytime. I mean, in 1 Corinthians 7, I think, the Bible talks about, how our bodies belong to our spouse. So as you get married, you don't only own your body, it is owned by your spouse. So they have the right to have sex with you anytime, with your consent anyway. So it's important that you pay attention to your physical hygiene. So the thing is, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, telling people that they have body odor or mouth odor is one of the most difficult things to do. It's for me, so one way that you can help yourself is ask for feedback. Oh, how is my breath? How do I smell? And be interested in the feedbacks, really, because these things can help you grow. So because sometimes you might not be brushing your teeth well. I mean, I've met someone who said he didn't know that he needed to wash his tongue. And those are small things that feedback can do for you. Oh, your mouth is not fresh, things like that. Then you can research and say, okay, what am I not getting right, and things like that. I don't think it's an offensive feedback to ask from people. Start now. Don't wait till your spouse tell you. Now, so the thing is, we say, oh, I'm an adult, you don't need to tell me these things, you don't need to tell me what to do. But the truth is, little issues like poor hygiene today are breaking marriages. So you want to start now to pay attention to your hygiene. You want to start now to develop, the habit of looking good even when you're at home. And this is something that should even stay on for a bit. You don't have to wait. So if you're married, this will benefit you too. You don't have to wait till you're going out to look good. Look good for your spouse. In that same 1 Corinthians 7, it talks about how you should live to please your spouse. So it's your spouse you should please. Now I'm going to share a short story. Okay, let me even share it anyway. It's not like I enjoyed listening to it, but I learned from it. So let me say it. So I went for a marriage enrichment class, and a man stood up and was saying, he had to stop his wife from wearing wigs because she would make weaving and then she would carry it for months or weeks or whatever, and they'll be so rough and smelly. But when she wants to go out, she'll wear a wig on it and look nice outside. And one day you have to call her attention and say, come, honey, what are you supposed to look good for? Is it those outside or for me? That if you cannot change this your weaving regularly, then I don't want you to wear wig anymore. So she had to start wearing, doing normal hair and looking good at home, And I learned from this because a lot of us are on this table that this man shook. We can easily get very complacent, very comfortable with our spouse and just, stay at home and tie a wrapper, wear boxers and singlets and just look, anyhow, just because you have gotten too comfortable. But that's not how it's supposed to be. We should always look good. Pay attention to your hygiene, to your dressing, even when you are at home. Because once these things become your norm, when you get married, it can only get better. Number 2, start learning to clean up after yourself. Now, this is another area where lots of marriages are going through friction today. It's the same, I'm an adult thing, you don't tell me what to do. But the truth is, if we keep avoiding the truth, how do we learn? Now, there are lots of women that complain, oh, my husband doesn't know how to clean up after himself, he throws his clothes all over the place, he throws his things all over the place, and when he pees, he doesn't aim well, he messes up the toilet seat, or when he shaves, he doesn't clear up the hairs or the debris and all of those things. And then on the other side, the men complain, oh, my wife doesn't tidy up the house, or when she brushes her hair, she doesn't pack up all the hair, or when she cooks, the kitchen is a mess, this and that. Now, I understand all these things because the truth is, when you're single, there are lots of things that you get away with. You're the only one seeing the mess that you make. You can attend to it any time you feel like. But the truth is, for marriages to work, for your marriage to work, you might need to pay extra attention to these things now that you're single. Start learning to clean up after yourself. Start learning to do the things that are not convenient for you. Marriage is service. The intention of marriage is also for you to please your spouse. So if you're living with someone and you can already see that your mess is starting to irritate them, it's something that you should pay attention to. And if you're living alone right now, just go back and say, okay, did I clean this toilet seat after using it? If you're the type that likes to close the toilet seat, did I close it? After shaving, did I clean up what I did? After cooking, did I clean up? Things like that. These are things that these little things, start to pay attention to them, because trust me, they are causing frictions in marriages today. Number 3, start becoming domesticated. Now, some people are able to afford domestic staff, so cleaning, cooking, market runs, and all of that are sorted. However, not everyone is able to, afford domestic staff. So my advice is, do not wait until you get married, to start getting hands-on or domesticated. Start practicing today. Start practicing, cooking, cleaning, doing things by yourself in the house. If you cannot afford a domestic staff, and this doesn't even apply to only the females, I'm talking about the male and females, the males and females rather. Now let me give you a personal example. So a couple of months before I met my husband, I remember I kept getting this nudging from the Holy Spirit to go and live on my own, because there were so many things I didn't know how to do at the time. I was modeling, so I was never really at home, and then I was born in a family with 7 children, family of 9, 7 children. So there was never a time that you needed someone to do something and then the work wasn't done. So it was almost like I wasn't really doing anything at home. Let me put it as straight and flat as it was, So when I was getting this nudging to go and live by myself, I moved out, rented an apartment. I started to do things by myself, started to learn a lot of things that I felt like I was lacking in. Now, interestingly, when I would go to visit my mom, she would express her surprise about how domesticated I had become, making myself available to clean for her, to run errands, to help her, assist in the kitchen, cook, do whatever I could do for her. And she was really surprised. And when I met my husband, I didn't know everything I needed to know. However, I still kept on applying myself. He had a housekeeper who doubled as a cook. But I didn't allow the cook. I would always, enter into the kitchen, cook. I didn't know how to cook so many things. I'll call Mom, say, oh, Mom, see, how many cubes of this should I put? What quantity of water? He too knows how to cook, so he would direct me and things like that. There were times when I would just, do the domestic chores by myself, clean up the house and things like that, because I wanted to stay doing these things. Now, guess what? Even though we still have a domestic staff, I still train my children, to clean up after themselves, to be domesticated. My younger, my older son is 5, or going to be 5 soon. The younger one is 2. I make sure that they get involved in house chores. When they eat, they clean up by themselves. When they make a mess, I make sure that they take broom and sweep it, because they would turn out to be someone's spouse someday. So these are things that you want to, for the sake of future, what you can inculcate into your children, learn these things, start applying yourself to these things. It will help you even in your marriage, because the truth is, a lot of these things are causing frictions in marriages today. Number 4, plant yourself in the right church. Now this is so important. You just might find the right one in the right church. Don't mind me, that's not a reason to go to church. Don't mind me, just because I found my own spouse in the church. Don't mind me, but then, you never know really. But then what I really mean is, planting yourself in the right church where you can actually identify yourself with, or you can identify with, I don't know which English, because it will help with your spiritual growth. It will help you with the church culture, which is very important. Now, these things that you do, you can pass on to your children. It's very important that you and your spouse have that church culture or church attendance culture, yes. Because number 1, it will help to strengthen the bond in the marriage. It will help you both for spiritual growth, and it will help with oneness. And then these are cultures that you can pass on to your children. So start now to plant yourself in the right church, and not just planting yourself in the right church. Make sure that you have that church attendance culture. You'll be surprised how much you grow spiritually just from, planting yourself in the right church where you can learn and grow. Number 5, start surrounding yourself with the right people. Now this is so important. consciously surround yourself with people that have the right mindset about marriage, people that you consider as role models, people who are happily married, who you can learn a thing or two from. I remember in my journey, before I got married, I had this elder sister who was already married, and I just liked how, whether she was going out or not, she would always look nice, she would, cook before her husband comes back, she would put the food in the cooler and everything. I just admired that, so I'd, go to her house from time to time or even spend some days there, and I learned a lot from her. I even, when she started to have children, so I saw the way she was paying attention to her children and things like that. Those were things that I was learning from that, I've helped to make up the wife that I am today. I also remember growing up, I had this woman, my mommy's friend also, who, she just knew how to take good care of her husband. She's a Calabar woman. And she just knew how to pet her husband, pamper her husband. She would cook and send the driver to take the food to the office for him and things like that. She just knew how to do things, and I just used to admire her as a child that, oh wow, now when I get married someday, this is how I'll be taking care of my husband and things like that. But guess what? Even as I grew older and it became more real that I was getting married soon, I consciously started to surround myself with people that I could learn from. I started to surround myself, lived with my sister for a while. Before I got married, I spent maybe about 4 months with my sister intentionally, and I learned a lot from her. I learned a lot from my mom as well. I learned a lot from, I just consciously started to remind myself of things I learned growing up, and I started to surround myself with people that were, handling this marriage thing very well, because it will help you. You don't want to hang around people that would encourage you to maltreat your spouse or disregard your spouse or have a funny mindset about marriage. No, you don't want to do that, because you are who you, or you become who you allow to be around you. Or how do I put it? There's a word I'm looking for. You become what you behold. Yes, I'm smart. You become what you behold. So you want to behold the right things. You want to be around people that would feed you with the right information or right ideas about marriage. Number 6, preserve your body and stop abusing your body. Now this is so important. Start paying attention. Start now to pay attention to what you're allowing your body to go through. For example, premarital sex, masturbation, excessive intake of alcohol, drug abuse, sex toys, and all of these things that we allow our bodies to go through would definitely have adverse effects on our bodies and in our marriages. So it's important that you start now to pay attention to these things that you're allowing your body to go through. And beyond even the marriage, for longevity of your body, you want your body to live long enough to serve you. We have all been created for a purpose, so you want to make sure that it's not when you are at that point where you are living out your purpose, then your body is dying, So you want to pay attention. Let me give you an example. So if you're a type of person that takes too much sugar, apart from it affecting your sex life, it will also give you diabetes, and diabetes can cut your life short. Or is it too much alcohol? Now, excessive intake of alcohol might cause liver problems, heart problems, things that can actually cut one's life short. Or is it drug abuse? Things that can, these things are harmful to the body. And beyond drug abuse, even premarital sex, also do not forget that God owns your body. He owns our body. Our body is his temple. So you want to respect God, honor him with your body. In 1 Corinthians 3:16, it says, "Know ye not that your body is the temple of God, and the Holy Spirit dwells in you?" Now, that's a question I'll leave with you until the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe, share this video, like it, leave me a comment, help me promote this video so that more people can see it. And don't forget to join us every Fridays on Family Life Prayers. God is doing a lot with the prayers. So please join us. Invite your friends and families also to join us. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.